Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Four Corners Podcast. This is Damien. This isn't John this week, but it's still the Four Corners Podcast. And here is Nicholas.
Hey guys, I am your host this week. We got a weird lineup this week because John is busy, and so we lost our primary audio guy, so it might be a little different sounding this week. But I'm joined with Damien, as you just heard, and our special third corner this week, Kelly.
Yay, I'm back.
I miss Ethan.
I miss Ethan too.
Me
Hey,
too.
but
I don't miss John.
good to see you, Kelly.
Thanks.
It's nice to have Kelly on the show.
Thanks. You know, I'm the backup, so
Honorary fifth corner, even though we only have 3 currently. Interesting. It's been a long week already, and it's Tuesday,
yeah.
right?
Really
Yep.
long week.
Exciting week. Anything happened today?
Big Cass is supposed to come back.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what it was.
big cast. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I think I read that too. Cool.
I'm pretty sure.
Nothing else happened today?
No. I don't
Anything
think
else?
so. I don't think so.
I think I saw that Daniel Bryan?
Who?
Daniel Bryan returned, or is going to
You
return.
mean the American Dragon?
Whoa. Smart internet fan. Look at you.
Thanks to Reddit.
Nice. Daniel Bryan is coming back, everybody. Officially, my tears have been shed. I'm over it now.
I have proof. I
Okay.
have picture proof.
No, she doesn't. She's
yes,
lying.
I do.
Oh, blackmail?
Nope.
I wouldn't use it for blackmail.
I was
it's
in
a
a
special
dark
moment.
place, or a bright place, I guess. But
Dark
Dude, no.
place
I
because
was
Daniel
on my
Bryan's
way to
coming back.
econ class today, and I got that message from WWE.com, and I was like, I have to text the group. And I was
oh my
flipping
gosh.
out.
You have no. I jumped out of my room. You know I never leave my room. I
Yeah.
jumped out of my room and I was looking for you. You weren't there. I found Tyler in the bathroom and I smacked him on the chest and I was like, Tyler, read this. And he's like, what? What is going on? And
Smack
he
him
read
on
it.
the
and,
chest. You
yeah.
never smack anybody on the chest.
I was excited. This was a game changer.
When you guys called me, I was like, "This is a joke. This has to be a joke." And then I literally went on Squared Circle. And it was the first post, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
I was like, Tyler, call
Oh.
Kelly right now. We need to tell her. And then Gentry was there too, and we talked to him about it. So now I think it's a good time as any to say me, or myself, Damien, John, Ethan, our friend Gentry, friend James,
Gentry's dead.
and Gentry's father are going to New Orleans in a couple weeks for WrestleMania 34.
Yay!
Hey, we got to give Casey a shout out too.
Casey too.
Casey.
Our boy Casey, who does commentary for Emerge Wrestling out of Columbus, Indiana. He's going to be down there with us too, and we're going to have a grand old time where we're going to see Daniel Bryan return to the ring for the first time in over 2 years.
Oh, and we're also going to go to TakeOver the night before, so that will be fun. Sitting in a car for 14 hours might not be fun, but
Not at all.
it'll be worth it once we get down there.
definitely
Meanwhile,
worth
I'll
it.
be watching it on my screen at home.
You can be our back home correspondent
Yeah,
for the
what's
show.
going on?
Keep us updated with the
yeah,
live
I'm
feed.
just gonna get a bunch of texts from you saying, "Oh my god, oh my god,
Oh my God, oh my
Oh my god, oh my god.
Oh, I'm not going to be crying this time.
Yeah, you will.
We'll see.
Nick will be both crying.
Okay, but Daniel Bryan returned tonight, and we'll get back to that later on in the show. Let's start off with kind of what happened on Raw this week. Did the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar storyline continued? Roman was handcuffed by U.S. Marshals.
Wait, he wasn't Stone Cold?
See, to me, I thought it was Stone Cold Steve Austin because that's how he got over, right? So that's how everybody has to get over. Perfect. He is Stone Cold Steve Austin, just like him.
It was the indie version of the Shield.
It was
let's
disgusting.
Be honest.
It was disgusting. Roman assaulted 3 U.S. Marshals and then proceeded to get beat down by Brock Lesnar while wearing handcuffs, so he got pretty busted up. His wrists were kind of red and his fingers were bleeding. So you got to give respect for that. Those are some dangerous bumps for him.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it was just they need to quit doing this anti-authority thing with Roman because it doesn't work whenever you literally are the authority backstage, like outside of kayfabe. There's no reason to force it like you're not when everybody knows you are.
I mean, it was surprising to hear Roman get cheered.
Yeah, but then whenever Brock started beating him down, it was hilarious because if you go back and watch it, you can tell that they had to mute the crowd mics because they were starting to chant "You deserve it" to Roman, despite the fact that he was
Oh.
supposed to be cheered.
Oh,
yeah,
Oh.
They do that
definitely.
Yeah,
every single WrestleMania
that's
season.
true.
If you haven't yet,
mute the mics.
go back and watch that segment,
I will.
and you
I
can
will.
tell that they hardcore mute their crowd mics to keep Brock as the heel and Roman as the face, despite
Yeah.
what the crowd wants. Once again.
Once again.
Any other comments on that segment, guys? It was pretty good. Like it was
Good
hilarious
way
to
to
see
start
Brock
Raw.
come out multiple times just to beat him down and push him
I
off
liked
the.
Paul just holding the champion belt in front of Roman as he's being relentlessly beaten. I think that was a good addition.
It was strange to me from like a booking sense because it was just over a year ago when they did this exact same story with Braun Strowman as the supposed heel, doing the exact same thing to Roman and beating him down, not being finished with him, and tipping him over on the stretcher and all that. And he got cheered then, so why would Brock not get cheered now? You're using the same formula to try to get someone booed, and you're failing at it 2 times over.
Because it worked so well a year ago, so why not bring it back again?
Now Braun's one of those over faces in the company because of that, so that'll work for sure with Brock.
Of course.
Anyways, I think that's all we got to say about that. I'm looking forward to the match regardless. It'll be I recently rewatched the Roman versus Brock from a few years back, and it's a good match.
Do you still think that they're going to main event?
I don't even know anymore. Honestly, I can think of like 5 matches on the card that could possibly main event. So that's something we'll have to talk about when we get to our podcast before Mania, and I'll predict what the card's going to look like. Other than that, we have another title match. Speaking of title matches, here's my John Fugate segue here. Speaking of title matches, it was announced after Kurt Angle had a backstage interview and said that Nia Jax will be facing Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it was predictable. The way that they're going about the storyline, is kind of confusing, especially since they like to cater towards the younger audience. It's like, hey, bullying is okay.
Bullying is rad if you have friends that'll do it with you.
Yeah,
nice.
Like, you can just use people for your
Fat
own
girls
advantage.
suck.
It's fine.
It's weird to me because Nia, flipped. Like, she was a heel 2 weeks ago,
yeah.
And then now she's a face?
Because she cried on Raw one time.
Yeah, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. But here's John's, we're going to have a heel versus heel,
oh my
blah,
gosh.
blah, blah. And
to me, I didn't like how they set it up with Kurt Angle. Like, why not have her earn that spot and just pin anybody on Raw, whether it's Dana Brooke or Alicia Fox. I think she's hurt right now, but just anybody else to earn the spot, or a Battle Royal to earn the spot. It doesn't make any sense that she was bullied, so she got a title match.
Yeah, like it would have made sense.
I've been bullied with my title match.
What you're saying would have made sense, but it's like we knew it was gonna happen anyway, and we knew that like WWE probably wasn't gonna pick the best way to like introduce it.
But like it got me thinking, because besides the 2 Rumble winners, how many number 1 contenders matches have there been for Mania matches this year? Because right now the tag titles are still. Braun Strowman won that. We'll talk about that later. SmackDown's probably not going to be a number 1 contenders match. It's probably just going to toss those 3 teams together. Intercontinental title. Was there? I think they both just got mad at Miz and they got matches for it.
Well,
I thought Seth won a match.
Oh, like a double pin maybe or something like that. If that sounds familiar.
No, that was for elimination chamber.
Oh, it was. See,
they did something like that to get the triple threat.
Because they were saying something about Finn just being put in the match.
Yeah. So again, just kind of haphazardly with the U.S. title match. It was announced on Twitter today. I get it makes sense that Bobby has his rematch, but why does Jinder get to be put in?
Just because he came out and said some stuff.
Yeah.
And got RKO'd.
He talked smack and got on the card. Okay. That's a kind of a bone to pick that I have with the card this year, is that nobody earns anything. It's just for the sake of the story.
And it's just thrown in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But regardless, these are some great matches that we're going to be seeing in a couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to it for sure. Speaking of number 1 contenders matches, another great segue. We last week we saw Braun Strowman become the number 1 contender for the Raw Tag Team titles, and Kurt Angle announced that this week he has to name his partner or have a partner for the match in order to get it. This week Braun said he had one. If I heard him right, did he say that?
Yeah, he said he had one and then never announced it because he had a singles match with
He seemed pretty confident in whoever he's got in his corner, but he never announced it officially. Then he beat Cesaro clean.
I don't think that Braun will announce it until WrestleMania. Make it a surprise.
So Ellsworth is a possibility.
I hope so. Like,
can you imagine?
I would lose it That's
Kelli
just like
would
the
send us a picture and be like, I'm
Her
crying.
like that. Yeah, that's why I'm gonna cry at WrestleMania is because of James Ellsworth. But like that's just the perfect way to get him back into the company because, I don't know if you've listened to Jericho's recent podcast with Ellsworth, but basically Ellsworth was saying how like like his 16 months with the company was over for now, but like he would still be considered for storylines like if they arose.
And like he is doing that stuff with his new intergender title belt on the indies, but I guarantee at the drop of a hat, if they said, "Hey, you want a Mania match?" he'll say,
Absolutely.
"Yes, put me on the
card."
card."
Hey, you want a Mania match with Braun Strowman to win the tag team?
Just imagine him coming out at Mania for the first time and saying, "Any man with these hands has a fighting chance at winning the tag team titles."
Any man with two hands could get these.
That would be great.
Well, it's like it's full circle because his first match was with Braun Strowman. That's when Braun Strowman was really starting to get over. Hello, this just books itself.
But we'll probably get Elias instead, just because that's the way things work around here. He wasn't on Raw. Well, okay. I did read. I don't know if I read it or if it was a theory or whatever, but I heard about the possibility of Elias working with The Rock at Mania. To have like a guitar segment with him or another celebrity that plays music that's at the show, which I'd be really on board with that because it's pretty documented on this podcast that I'm not really into Elias as a wrestler yet. He's had good matches, but he hasn't had a big moment yet to really get him over with me. But I love his character. I love his musician stuff. So I think it'd be perfect to have him in like a non-wrestling capacity with The Rock or with if it's Kid Rock or if it's anybody else that showed up at Mania to talk to him or to sing with him or whatever.
What if it's Jericho?
I think he's busy that night, but that'd be the ultimate swerve if he wasn't. But just imagine like him and The Rock playing guitar side by side and having a good time. He's smiling, thinking he's on The Rock's good side, just to get whatever rock bottom knocked over, and then people's elbow, all that. I think that'd be a great moment to see. That way you can have Rock on the show without him having to wrestle a match with his movie deals going on right now.
I want to see Rock versus Rusev.
It's coming, I'm sure, eventually. Besides that, we have another match that is rumored. It might happen. It's coming up. John Cena called out Undertaker again this week on Raw. We thought for sure that Undertaker was going to answer the call, with it being in Dallas, Texas, Taker's home state. But Taker did not answer the promo. So somebody else answered it.
Who could that
person
be?
Was it Ethan Kane Woods?
I think it was. That's got to be Kane. Didn't say a word, stood up to Cena right to his face, choked him, and then slammed him. And then it was announced that next week it'll be Cena and Kane in a one-on-one match.
Wow, such a dream match.
Well, God bless that it wasn't Kane and Cena at Mania instead.
That's true.
Thank
we
the
still
Lord.
could get that.
We still could. Triple threat. Taker, Kane, and Cena.
No.
Beautiful.
No.
It was a good promo. It was the weird intensity with Cena where he's calling him a coward and he's saying he's scared and
like a less than a man for not answering.
I don't understand how he's saying he doesn't have an answer from Taker, but he also was fully aware that Taker is scared. Because if you knew he was scared, then you would have an answer from him already, right? You would know what's going on, what he's doing. He kept saying, "You sit there and you're scared and you sit there." If you know that he's sitting there and he's scared, then you know he doesn't want to wrestle you, so it's a no.
Watch next week before his match with Kane, we're gonna see a segment where John Cena just goes to their house and is like, "Excuse me."
He knocks on the door. Michelle, is Mark home? I need to talk to Undertaker.
Get him out here now.
Do you guys think that Taker will be on Raw before Mania at all, or do you think they'll wait to re-debut him at Mania, kind of like they did at 31 and I think at 20 against Kane? Was that 20?
I personally would really like it if they waited and just had John Cena go out into the crowd, just enjoy WrestleMania as a fan,
sharing beer with that guy with the hairy face.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden have Undertaker come out and be like, "You wanted your match,
that'd be so
get
great.
your in the ring, let's go. You got your match."
That'd be really awesome. Well, because there's only 2 weeks till Mania, right? Or 2 more Raws till Mania.
Yeah.
So next week is Cena and Kane. I doubt Taker gets involved at all. Cena will probably beat him clean. And then say, "Where are you? Next week you better show your face." And then we'll see if at the go-home show Taker's there. If not, I guarantee Kelly's prediction will come true.
That'd be pretty cool.
Cena will come out, whatever, promo, go into the crowd, share a beer with somebody. and you hear the bike rev up and the gong, and then Kid Rock comes out.
like looking at it and like piecing it together logically, like it makes sense because like Kid Rock is inducted, you know, he is the theme for the American Badass.
Yeah.
Like it kind of just writes itself, but also like you never know with the company, like you never know with creative where it's gonna go. So I'm just afraid that like they're gonna mess it up one way or another.
This morning, Cena put a picture of Undertaker on his Instagram of long time
Wasn't
ago.
it like the big Texas
late
or
80s,
something?
yeah, something like that, Big Mark or something. I don't know what it was, but it was an out of Phenom character version of Undertaker that we're expecting to see at Mania.
Which we could see something with, you know, everybody's about the social media now. We could see, instead of, you know, something like, you know, the Undertaker's powers, we could just have, you know, the Undertaker on social media. Hey,
He's
you want your
tweeting.
fight? I'll meet you in the ring at WrestleMania.
You meet in the ring, 12 o'clock. Be there.
It'd be great to see him comment with Michelle McCool's account, like, Cena, I'll see you in the ring, and like a little, like a hyphen Undertaker. That'd be hysterical, I think. But no, there's no way any of that happens. Overall, I think we're all looking forward to it. I think it's going to be one of many dream matches now that we have on the card. It's going to be a great, great show. Another match that we have, this is a real dream match. The Under the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is making a return to WrestleMania. And its first entrants are The Revival, saying that they want to do what Braun did, but the opposite, and win a singles Battle Royal as a tag team. You guys think they have a chance?
Is that allowed?
You guys think they have? Is this allowed?
That
Is this allowed? You guys think they have a chance to?
No,
to do
absolutely
it?
not.
No.
No.
I love the concept. I was telling John that it's awesome. It's a cool idea for them to do that. But
If New Day wasn't involved in the tag team situation over on SmackDown, they
that'd
could
be
win
great.
it.
But I think, like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, with the rumor of Big Cass returning, I think he's a lock to win the match, to kind of reestablish him as the future big man of the company, besides Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman.
Yeah, because it's like, what better way for him to come back after having his surgery, being out on injury, and then all of the Enzo accusations, and then also breaking up with Carmella. Like, it just kind of would push him to, like, his own character, I guess.
Yeah. And speaking of that, what was the article? What was the website from that article
my
that you?
gosh.
What was the website? Do you remember?
Oh, let me look it up.
There was an article
I think it was
posted today that was
PW
announcing.
Insider, but
It was announcing his return,
can I read
his
the...
clearing. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on.
It's
let
hysterical.
let me find the article first. But
Okay.
Okay. No, it's from popculture.com.
Okay.
And literally the first sentence reads,
I laughed.
after severing ties with Enzo Amore, girlfriend and coworker Carmella, and his ACL, we can safely say that Big Cass has a tumultuous 9 months, but a return to normalcy is reported very close.
So he severed ties with Enzo, Carmella, and his knee. Beautiful.
Like, give that man a raise. Whoever wrote that,
That's
give him
hysterical.
a
I
raise.
love it.
Also on the topic of the Battle Royal, I also saw somewhere where people were predicting that Goldberg would get involved and win it.
That'd be kind of cool.
One last hoorah.
To give him one more win before he
Yeah.
retires. Who else has been announced for that match? Have you had anybody else announced?
I don't think officially.
I know there was some more announced for the women's battle royal on SmackDown tonight, but I don't know about the men's.
I haven't seen any.
Me either.
I think it was.
They might have mentioned Apollo and Titus maybe on Raw. I don't know. I could be making that up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know, cause like, I just solely remember the Revival like blatantly saying like, we're gonna be the first entrants for the Battle Royale.
Yay. Looking forward to it. Hopefully it's a good match, good moment. Usually it's more of a moment than a match with that battle royal because there's 50 guys in the ring at one time and it's a big mess. But speaking of battle royals, beautiful. There's a women's battle royal going on. No longer the Fabulous Moolah Pimp battle royal. It's the women's battle royal now, thanks to our sponsors at Snickers. Bless
We did it, Reddit.
We did it, Reddit. We know now that it will feature Carmella, and I know Bayley and Sasha are going to be in it, which is just depressing.
Awful.
And I think I heard Becky, Naomi, and the Riot Squad will also be in it as of tonight on SmackDown.
Wait, Carmella announced that she was going to be in it?
She was last week on SmackDown with like a backstage social media promo.
Oh, Moolah.
Yeah, I'm the modern day Moolah. I'm going to win her Battle Royal.
Oh.
Gross.
Oh.
But the biggest takeaway from that is that Bayley and Sasha will be tossed into that. And they had their promo.
So stupid.
What do you guys think of their promo on Raw this week? It was interesting because it was...
Did you see it, Kelly?
Yeah, I was there for Raw.
It was... I think it was Bayley that was saying she was upset with Sasha. Or no, Sasha confronted her first.
Yeah, she came out and she was
what
like,
are you doing, girl?
Like, I was raised and taught that if you have a problem with someone, you confront them, and like...
Despite all the petty stuff on Twitter that she's posted and
like,
shared
you deserted
liked.
me twice, and blah, 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 blah. And then Bayley retorts with, like, well, the look on your face when you kicked me off of the pod at Elimination Chamber, I can't get that out of my head.
On your face.
Yeah. And then Absolution interrupts.
But I'd be mad if I was Bayley too. Sasha's dumb.
Yeah, she's done it multiple times too. First of all,
they should have just ganged up
in
on
the chamber.
Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
and then either one of them would be champion.
It's
right
very
now.
stupid
It's
from like a realistic standpoint. You would save your partner until you eliminate the other person first, then turn your back on them, not before. Then you're just causing two problems instead of one. But no one ever said Sasha was a genius.
She's not.
Considering how many times she's tried to turn her back on Bayley. I really enjoyed Bayley's argument. It made sense. It's a good way to do I don't know if they're going to turn Sasha yet, but it's a good way to do a face versus face feud for now, until Sasha does turn or until Bayley does turn. I personally foresee Bayley winning it and then Sasha snapping and turning her back on her and attacking her after the match, because that's such a Bayley WrestleMania moment to have, to win a match and then get annihilated by your best friend.
Absolutely.
She's like the female Zack Ryder to me. It's like people love her. She's over. She can win big matches, but then she can't maintain it, like Zack Ryder with the IC title at 32.
Oh, stop.
When he won it and then lost it to Miz the next night. I see Bayley in that same light. I don't want to see her in that light, but that's just kind of the way that they booked her to this point on the main roster.
Well, it's like she was doing so well up until what? Like, after she lost the title.
Even then, that was such a waste to have her. She broke Charlotte's streak before Mania, and then she retained the title at Mania. She walked in as champion instead of winning it. It was just a big kind of wasted opportunity to me. Why not have Charlotte keep it until Mania and then lose it to Bayley that night?
Yeah.
This is going back to last year.
Yeah.
I think this is their chance to really save Sasha and Bayley. I know they're both over. I know they both push a lot of merchandise and they both get a lot of reactions, but this is a way to make them more compelling than they currently are. Because as of right now, only girls that matter on Raw are Ronda, Alexa, and Nia. So it'd be nice to see.
Asuka.
And Asuka, but Asuka,
she's going
double agent.
For now.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to whatever happens, even if it takes till Mania for Sasha to turn. Originally, I was kind of down on that concept, but if that's what it takes to get them to be pushed to a different level, then I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
Besides that, the main event of Raw was the Ultimate Deletion match, Ultimate Deletion segment, video package. How did it start? It started out with Bray walking into the Hardy compound.
Yeah,
correct?
it was like separated into 3 different sections. The first was Bray walking in and Matt Hardy like popping up on a hologram and was like, "Welcome to the Ultimate Deletions" or something.
Yeah.
That drone was the best part.
That drone was the worst. It's not fair.
And
it's
then,
a handicap match.
And then that was like the end of the first segment, and then the second segment was Matt Hardy talking to his giraffe, which encompasses the spirit of George Washington.
Yes.
And feeding him carrots.
Of course, because he likes carrots and Matt likes green beans. Beautiful.
And then the third segment was the actual match of the Ultimate Deletion.
Yes, and that was at first started out in the ring, correct?
Yes. Bray came in and
the outside ring. Yeah.
The outside ring, and what's her name? What's Matt's?
Rebby,
but it's Rebecca.
Queen Rebecca.
Yeah.
Playing the piano. Was that?
She was playing Bray's theme song. I thought that was a cool touch. I like the little Easter eggs that they hide in these deletion videos. Even back at TNA, they kind of hid them in there. So I enjoyed that little aspect of it. And then they had a match, and what led to the fireworks going off? did Bray have the upper hand, or was Bray about to win or something?
I think he like pushed Matt into a corner, and then Matt was like, "Aha! Surprise attack!"
And he just started firing.
Yeah.
It was a cool like reference to the original Final Deletion, because he shot fireworks at Jeff Hardy and Jeff Hardy shot fireworks at him, but he just shot him up in the air. I guess it's been so long since Bray has seen fireworks up close. He was like, "Oh!"
That's where all the money for pyro went.
No, I bet that came out of Matt's pocket because he cares so much about this stupid deletion stuff. But after that, where did they go? They went to that like. It wasn't a great. Oh yeah, the barn. Matt went to the hassle of recreating Bray Wyatt's little barn hut that he used to do his promos in. Way back when he started out.
Bray got triggered.
Coming out of NXT. Bray got triggered because he started seeing it burn down again. And he remembered when he used to sit up there in the upper level of it and sit on his rocking chair and cut his promos and all that. And then I don't know what happened.
They went to that graveyard.
And he started hitting it with the kendo stick.
With like the Scooby-Doo segment where he tried to chase him around.
And Matt's just like sneaking through.
That was like my favorite part, because at one point Bray was just laying into one of those graves with a stick, and Matt was just standing there watching him do. He's just hitting it, and Matt's like, "What are you doing over there?" That cracked me up. That was my favorite part of the whole segment. And then following that, they went back into that other barn, right?
Yeah, into the barn with the mower of lawns.
Mower of lawns.
Chair of
wheels.
Mower of lawns.
Wait, no. Before that, remember Bray's beautiful. Let's see what's behind door number 1, and he smashed Bray into the door, and it just opened automatically. What? That was great. And then the mower of lawns or the chair of wheels. Mower of lawns, chair of wheels.
Mower of
lawns. And he jumps on the lawnmower, tries to maim Bray Wyatt, literally murder him, and Bray jumps up and stops him? I'm very fuzzy on the details of this.
Yeah, I don't know how he stopped him, but he did.
Bray does his little, what do you call it?
He did the spider walk. He jumped up with the spider walk, and it spooked Matt, I guess. Despite all the stuff that Matt's seen at this point. Yeah, just run him over. He did his fingers first. That's great. But after that,
Kelly's dying over here.
It was a really good segment. Every single comment, review, Twitter, tweet, Reddit, whatever I've seen, that was the worst thing ever. But because it was the best thing ever, and I agree honestly.
Oh, it was great.
It was a complete and total mess, but it was beautiful. Following the mower of lawns, they went to the Lake of Reincarnation, where they finished their battle, I guess. I think Bray had the upper hand, and then he went to the dilapidated boat and picked it up, and Senor Benjamin was underneath it.
Senor Benjamin.
And then he threw a globe at him and started singing He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, obnoxiously out of tune. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or if he's just that clueless to how to sing. And then Bray was all shook by that, and then sure enough, right behind him, Brother Nero pops up, spooks him, and then he turns around again, and then he gets hit with the Twist of Fate by Woken Matt Hardy and pinned 1, 2, 3. Speaking of getting pinned, my second favorite part, besides the graveyard part, was when the referee kept following them, not too close, but just you could just see his little silhouette following them from every little camera angle.
Especially
with the Vanguard
when Bray was just dragging Matt,
and he was he was just kind of creeping up behind him.
It's kind of like
when that's my favorite.
It's kind of like when your mom tells you to take your sibling to the store with you, and you're just
how do you even ref one of those matches? It's just I don't know what's allowed in this.
You just kind of count the pin, and that's about it. Asking if they're okay. Also, at one point, the drone got involved, and Bray had the chance to smash it, but he said, "I'll take care of you later," and he threw it away, which led to him getting Twist of Fate.
And thrown into the lake.
After he got pinned, Matt picked him up and said, "I'm going to delete you," and he tossed him into the Lake of Reincarnation, which we expected. In the past, in the first one, Jeff came out as his alter ego Willow, and then they continued the match from there. But with this one, Bray just went in there, and then Senor Benjamin tried to poke around and find him, and he couldn't. He lost him. He wasn't in there. There was nothing in the lake. And Matt said, "Yay, I deleted him.
Oh,
Hurrah."
we're going to see Sister Abigail.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to see, honestly.
Husky Harris.
But overall, like I was saying, great. Awful segment, but great. segment at the same time.
So much better than House of Horrors.
Never would have thought that would be the main event of a Raw ever, but here we are, 2018. We're living. We're living. What? Let me try to think. I was reading. I think Dave Meltzer said that. I mean, I don't take his word for Bible at all, but he was speculating. He was thinking that they were going to repackage Bray in some way. He didn't say how, to what extent, to what extreme. Maybe they'll completely just kind of turn him back to the way he used to be before he kind of adopted the weird ghosty mentality and was just kind of a swamp guy, like in that like your Damien's Hot figure where he has the fedora and the Hawaiian shirt and all that.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, that's the character that I like the most.
Yeah.
But before he had the dreadlocks and all that, he was just like a cult leader, a swamp cult leader, and that was cool. He could teleport and all that, but it wasn't like he was a weird spirit of darkness.
But I feel like if he goes back to that, people are gonna hate it and they're gonna want Bray Wyatt with the weirdness. But then it just doesn't work, or it should work, but it's just not booked right.
To me, I don't think it should be either extreme. It shouldn't be the weird, spooky Sister Abigail ghost character, but it shouldn't be just a stripped away, just regular fat guy with a beard and a fedora. I think that there's a nice middle ground that you can find that they had, but they wasted it continuously at every opportunity.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the repackaging, because I was reading an article. I forget where it was. It might have been PW Insider, honestly. But there is speculation that they're gonna have like a quote unquote broken Husky Harris come out of the lake and have like Matt and Bray like do their tag team that people have been speculating. Which wouldn't be awful, but also like...
Where does that leave Brother Nero, though?
Yeah,
come back and get jealous and then...
You think so?
Or those three could take on the Balor Club.
True, because that was the report, the end of last year, that Vince was really into trios again. So they brought like the Shield and he was doing the Balor Club and he was going to do New Day and all that. But
at the same time, it's like... We know Bray Wyatt as the cult leader and, like, you know, leader of the Wyatt family.
Yeah, I think it'd be a cool twist to have him be a follower instead of a leader for once. It'd be interesting.
It would be interesting.
To have Husky Harris the follower, not Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. I just don't know how people would adapt to it, you know? Because it's like we're so used to him being in charge, him being the spooky cult leader. So it's like...
And like they could just call him like Brother Harris instead of Brother Husky or Husky Harris or whatever. Just
Brother Wyatt.
And then to me, like, I don't think that Vince wants Jeff to come back as Brother Nero. I think Vince sees too many dollar signs in Jeff, so he's going to put him back as a top face like he has been in the past and where he sees his most success in his career. So I think they're going to kind of substitute Brother Nero with Brother Wyatt or Brother Husky, Brother Harris, whatever.
Wherever they go with it,
and then just do that tag team for now.
Yeah.
Maybe get Jeff involved later, but for now, bring Jeff back as a face where you know he'll make the money that he can.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about that segment?
I want more.
Weirdly, it was, I guess it was not on the Hulu cut of Raw this week.
Yeah.
I read that. And then someone tweeted at them or messaged them that they were upset about it, and they said, sorry, we only air what we are given by the company. So it was somebody in that company that cut it out of the show and sent it to Hulu. So
that's interesting.
I kind of theorize that Vince is not a big fan of the broken stuff.
Well, and also he didn't actually show it at the stadium.
Yeah,
so.
That too.
Yeah, what did they get instead? They got Elias
versus Braun Strowman with Kane interfering.
And then they got Dana Brooke and Ronda Rousey.
And Ronda, which is cool. That was cool. I watched that on YouTube. It was pretty cool. She tossed her across the ring. It was awesome.
I hope that's like one of her like moves.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying Ronda was not on the live TV part?
No.
Yeah.
She had a promo package.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sticking with my theory that Vince is not a big fan of it because, as we know, Vince feeds the commentary all their lines, and right before they went to the main event with the final deletion, Michael Cole said, "I apologize for what you're about to see," blah blah, and it's kind of didn't bury the segment, but he just kind of dumped on it right before it started.
Yeah.
Which, to the casual fan, like, why would they want to continue watching at that point? That's kind of a mess.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't like that they did that. There was no reason for it. It kind of seemed out of line.
I wonder how many people turned the TV off.
Yeah. I mean, going back to TNA, their commentators were, like, weirded out by it. They're confused by it, but they didn't bury it like that. They didn't say, I'm sorry for
what you're
airing
about to
this.
see.
Yeah, that just seemed wrong to me. So I'm wondering where this goes for WrestleMania. I'm wondering if they're going to do Bray and Matt tag team or if they're going to have a final match. Don't know.
I would love to see it continue because, I mean, to the casual fan, it's weird and, like,
It's
just
new.
It's so bizarre.
fresh.
New. Yeah.
But, like, even, like, Gentry, who's our friend, who doesn't watch wrestling like we do, like,
loved
every single
it.
week, he was in love with it. He thought it was the coolest thing ever because he watched the original Final Deletion stuff back when they were in TNA because somebody showed it to him on YouTube. And then he saw this and he loved it again. It's a cool way to not necessarily catch the eye of the casual fan, but just catch the eye of anybody that might be tuning in because it's so out there. It's not wrestling. It's weird storytelling.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like a movie. Yeah, it's like a cutscene from a video game almost. It's like a movie.
And it's like, I wonder if Vince is like, I don't like it, but the fans like it, and like maybe this will give them something to grasp on while we also like push Roman still.
Yeah, it's like, of course he wasn't going to put Roman in the main event because he knows that's a mess right now. Better to start the show than end the show with that. So they just screw it.
It's like an eye for an eye.
If this is what you kids want, then we'll give you Bray Wyatt, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure, broken Matt.
Sure, whatever.
I lost my train of thought.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oops.
Yikes.
Oops.
Well, if you ever find it, bring it on back. After that, we can talk about SmackDown.
Oh, I got it now.
Oh.
That,
Okay.
Great. Right. Like segue.
I
Cool.
am so sorry,
Awesome.
Nick.
Go ahead.
John's not here. He'd yell at me more for this.
Yeah, you're right.
But the WWE is so predictable with their stuff that it's good to see and it's fresh and
Yes.
you just don't know what's gonna happen. So that's
Yeah.
why I kept watching because it was new. And Nick over here predicts Raw and SmackDown
Every week.
Yep.
So it's just something you cannot predict because you just don't know what's going to happen. It's not predictable. So that's
And it was really cool because we talked about, I mentioned how it kind of emulated the original Final Deletion. They recently hired TNA announcer Jeremy Borash. He's not doing any announcing. He's doing, I think, NXT Creative. And they also had him on site for that Final Deletion or the Ultimate Deletion recording because he had a big hand in it back in TNA. So I think it's great that Vince or Triple H or whoever's in charge of that went out of their way to find the guys who made this great, and they're going to try to continue that instead of make it Vince's broken where he just kind of makes the meme out of the laughter and all the funny, hilarious back and forth between him and Wyatt that the kids love but the casual fans don't enjoy. Whoa. So I'm looking forward to more of that. I'm looking forward to where it goes with WrestleMania. Switching gears, we're going to go to SmackDown.
Ooh.
We opened with Daniel Bryan. We talked about that already.
Ooh.
But other than that, we'll get back to Daniel Bryan with the main event of SmackDown.
Okay.
What's something we always talk about with SmackDown, Damien? What's something we mention every single week because we don't know what's going on? Carmella catching in?
Yeah.
Here we are again. Is she going to cash in? What happened this week?
Well,
Well,
as you see,
it was actually a good match going
Yeah.
on. They had Charlotte versus Natalia. Usually that'll put me to sleep. It's boring.
but it was pretty good.
It was hard hitting. They had some big spots, power bombs, suplexes, superplexes, cool stuff. And then, sure enough, you can't have a good thing on SmackDown. Seems like so. Carmella tries to cash in,
L-O-U-S.
and for a second,
Nice.
I thought she was gonna do it. I thought she was gonna cash in.
I agree.
Just to dash the hopes of anybody wanting Asuka versus Charlotte in a regular one-on-one match.
Yeah.
But sure enough, can't make Charlotte look weak yet. So
We still have 2 weeks.
yeah, so Carmella goes to cash in. Charlotte hops up, big boot, knocks her out of the ring, and Natalia pins Charlotte, which is interesting.
Before the bell rang.
Yeah, before the bell rang. I'm a little curious. The first person to do that was Seth Rollins, right?
Yeah.
He cashed in during a title match. If Carmella cashed in during that match, would that make it a triple threat for the championship, or would that just end the match and Natalia's out of the stuff?
No, if I remember correctly, with Seth Rollins,
Well, it was already
It was already a title match.
Yeah, so it became. I think it became a triple threat, and whoever he pinned.
Yeah. That was how that match
Yeah.
worked. But I'm wondering, in this case, it wasn't a title match. It was just a one-on-one match.
If
Oh,
Natalia
shoot,
But if she
right.
cashes in during the match, it doesn't end it. It just puts her into it and makes it a title match.
I think so.
So Natalia could have had a free championship opportunity there if she had let Carmella cash in.
Idiot.
You think Carmella would be, or Natalia would be smart enough to let her cash in and then beat both of them down while they're both down, and then pin and win the championship. That would have been a hilarious like Vince Russo WCW 2000 swerve, but I guess that would be kind of hard to explain to the fans. It's kind of a mess in itself, and no one wants to see Natalya versus Asuka.
Or
anyways,
Carmella versus
or
Asuka.
Natalya, Carmella, Charlotte, and Asuka in the single in one big cluster
please
match like we're used to seeing.
Please don't speak evil into the world.
Speak it into existence. It's gonna happen.
No. I personally, I've told you this before, Nick.
Yeah, we talk about this every week on the podcast. Carmella.
I really
That's a lot of
want.
reallys.
Really?
I want Carmella to cash in during Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I've
Really?
told you this
But-
before.
Really,
But
really.
can she? What does the contract actually say?
I think that'll be like a plot convenience if they do what Kelly wants. I think they'll just say, "Oh, by the way, it's a free agent contract also." I think they're going to introduce that with this year's Money in the Bank, but I think they'll start introducing it by saying Carmella has the first ever free agent Money in the Bank contract.
Because I look at things in a more logical sense, or to me, what seems logical, and it's like we're all betting that Asuka is going to be Charlotte, go to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be short one woman. Why not bring Carmella over to Raw?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Well, also, Asuka is going to hold the championship, in my opinion, for at least a year.
Probably.
Or more.
If not longer. Yeah.
So Carmella either needs to cash in within these next 2 weeks, which I don't think that they're
I don't
going
want
to
that to happen.
I don't think that they're going to do that, because I think they are wanting to push Carmella to have a bigger moment. Maybe not a WrestleMania moment, but a bigger moment like at one of the 3 other major pay-per-views. So with Asuka going to SmackDown, that leaves one woman open for Raw.
What they could do, if Alexa Bliss wins at WrestleMania, Kurt Angle hates Alexa Bliss.
He sure does.
He hates her.
Just
So
bully.
he could Carmella could go up to Kurt Angle and be like, "Hey, like, look at this. Could you
Let me help you out."
agree to let me use this for the Raw brand?" And
Yeah.
Kurt's like, "Heck yeah."
Yeah.
And then lets her cash it in.
To me, it's one of those things that makes so much sense that it won't happen.
Yeah.
Especially because Nia has that connection to the Samoan, to The Rock, to Roman Reigns and all that. I don't think Vince would take her moment from her
Also,
like that.
she's not like most girls.
Yeah, exactly. She's not like most girls.
But it's like, what have they ever cared about that?
When it comes to a Samoan, all bets are off.
Text that boy and tell him to be quiet.
Yeah, I'm just about to.
I don't know if that
Stop
picked up onto the mics or
yelling.
not, but people are yelling across
My boyfriend is yelling,
the apartment
and
from
he
us.
needs to stop.
Anyways, we had another match made official, like I mentioned earlier, the U.S. title triple threat match. Randy Orton defending
Why?
against Bobby Roode and Jinder
Why?
Mahal.
I can't wait to use the restroom during that match.
Why?
That's going to be such a match.
Just why?
If it's one thing, it's going to be a match. They built up again. They
It's not
did
gonna be
the
glorious,
same
is
spot
it?
that they've been doing the past month, where so and so gets the finisher on the other person, and then so and so interferes, and then they do it to the other person.
And then they
It's
get
just really
entered
getting
into a title
tired.
match.
Yeah, it's just getting really tired. Where there's no storyline being built between these 3 guys. They're just beating each other up for the sake of the championship.
Yeah, like what I get is that Randy Orton won. Bobby Roode is like, hey, rematch.
Yeah,
and
which makes
Jinder
sense.
is
which
just
makes sense.
Jinder is just bitter.
Jinder says, "Hey, I want it too, please, thank you," and then they gave it to
He said
him.
he sucked. That wasn't very nice.
That was
of
harsh.
Randy.
I'm curious. Do you guys? I'm not going to do predictions just yet, but do you guys think that Randy Orton will retain, or do you think that it'll be someone else that wins it at Mania?
I think Randy will
You think?
will keep it.
Because
Yeah.
to my theory, with Daniel Bryan coming back, I think that they will swap the U.S. and IC titles again. Because you cannot have Daniel Bryan on the same show as Roman Reigns in this year, like in the year of 2018.
You cannot.
You can't be pushing Roman as the Universal Champion with Daniel on the same
Unless
show.
you move, unless
That's a complete
Daniel's
mess.
like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be general manager. I'm gonna go to Raw.
Yeah.
Wait, and then Roman
And then have
takes
Roman
the
switch.
Switch.
I think more likely we'll see U.S. title Randy Orton switch with IC title Miz. Both of them. See, I can't see Miz retaining though. That's the problem. Maybe Bobby wins because there's no way both titles are going to be retained. One of them's going to have to change hands in a triple threat match. Maybe Miz sneaks away with the championship, switches to SmackDown, and then Bobby Roode wins it and switches over to Raw. That seems like a fair, even trade to have Miz for Bobby instead of Miz for Orton, in which case Orton's more of a higher level to some people's opinion.
It would make sense to have Randy go to Raw because he's one of Vince's guys.
Exactly, which is why I thought that he would retain, but you can't have both of them retain. I don't think that's possible. Plus, with The Miz having his baby, I think he might take some time off anyways. So maybe Seth Rollins wins it and then switches over to SmackDown, and then Miz just debuts, or when he comes back on SmackDown and wins it back.
Seth versus Daniel for the Intercontinental Championship.
I was thinking Dean Ambrose, but that'd be great too. I don't know. Let's not get into fancy booking because we could be talking for another 3 hours with that. That'd take forever.
Yeah.
The final segment on SmackDown this week was beautiful. I've never been so happy to see my favorite wrestler get beaten to a pulp. That was just beauty to me to see Daniel Bryan get annihilated.
Because we can actually see it.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan came out. Cheeky Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens came out and said, "Oh, you're on our side. We're off the hook now. Shane's gone. You can wrestle now. We're gonna be a stable. It's gonna be great." And Daniel said, "No way. You guys took it way too far last week. You beat my coworker, my colleague to a pulp, and you made him take some time off. So we're not gonna have it. You two are effectively fired now today." And then they both snapped and they beat him down.
Mm-hmm.
Not before Daniel could get some offense in. He started out with the yes kicks. I'm glad that he didn't hit the last one because that's such a great moment. You want to save that for WrestleMania, for when he comes back for his first match back. But he hit the drop kicks in the corners. He was hitting them stiff. You could tell he was so excited to be back because he was hitting everything stiff as a board, and with that.
But you could see the pure joy on his face.
I was gonna say I was surprised he wasn't like on the ground smiling while he was getting the crap kicked out of him by those two. After he got interrupted with the yes kicks, they took him out of the ring, or they hit the haluva kick on him from Sami Zayn, tossed him out of the ring, and then they did the apron powerbomb, which I wonder, I guess from like a broad standpoint, what is the power? What is the strength of the apron powerbomb? Because it made Jericho take time off, right? It made him like halfway retire for a little bit.
Well, I think that they play it off as like, oh, it's like steel or metal.
Yeah, the hardest part of the ring.
Exactly. So like, does that mean that Daniels is injured now? Because it's injured multiple guys before.
I guess so.
Well, and also, I don't know.
I guess it just depends.
Well, he wasn't like beat down like other people. That was like one of the first things that happened to him. Like Jericho during the Festival of Friendship, he like everything happened to him, and then that happened. Yeah. With Daniel, it was like just a little bit of stuff, and then that happened.
The way I'm picturing it in my head, I don't know if this is a fantasy booking again. I said we wouldn't go back to this, but here we are. Next week, there's no authority figure because Shane and Daniel are both out, so Kevin and Sami are just kind of messing up the entire show.
Assuming Daniel doesn't come back.
Yeah, no, this plays into my theory. Oh, okay. And then the go-home show is a week after that. Have Kevin and Sami again screwing the show up, beating people down. Shane comes out to save the day. 2-on-1, you can't survive. Then when they're beaten down, Shane, you hear the music, you hear the Ride of the Valkyries, and Daniel comes rushing out in his actual gear this time. Obliterates those two and says, "You guys got a match. You're not facing each other anymore. You're facing us two at Mania this Sunday."
Stop.
Oh, I got chills just thinking about it.
Wait, I wonder if John likes this better than when we were talking about Shane versus Daniel.
Yeah. Oh, this is... I don't know, actually. To me, I love it.
It's great.
It makes the most sense.
Dream match to see him versus Kevin or Sami, let alone both of them at the same time.
He can play it safe in this match.
Yes.
He can have Shane take
the stupid bumps like he always does.
And
he can
Daniel
just
can be safe for his first match back.
Yeah. Kind of similar to Kurt Angle with his tech. Which is I want to mention this, is a cool parallel between... It's also it's like a compare and contrast. Both shows, Raw and SmackDown, have tag team authority matches going on. One has authority versus authority. One's going to have authority with authority versus the bad guys, which is really cool to me to have the kind of the duality of Raw and SmackDown. Raw has them always fighting each other, with SmackDown they're on the same page now. I think it's a really cool concept to have.
I like that a lot. I don't know.
Thanks.
I'm just... You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Of course. No, I mean... It's not something that I think the casual fan would think about, and it's definitely not something that I thought about until you said it. But it's like, yeah, we're in these authority positions, but like, we can still fight.
Yes.
Like, we got 2 contracts.
Yeah, oh my God. Stop.
No, I'm just really excited because like I never thought I would ever see Daniel Bryan
I
wrestle.
never thought I would see it
like,
happen again.
Live because like I came
unless
in,
he went to New Japan or
yeah,
ROH.
and it's like I came into, or I got into wrestling at such like a late game, I guess, or a late starting point where it's like all the people that like I really like I won't ever see again, like AJ Lee, or like I'm not gonna see Paige wrestle ever again, and it's fine. I'm still getting over it, but it's whatever.
I'm on the kind of the same page as that, which is why this hit me so hard when Daniel came back. It's kind of been weird. I didn't even think about it until today. Like in the past couple of years, probably since we got to Ball State, it's been horrible for me because I lost CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, AJ Lee, Christian, all my favorites from both divisions gone, just like that, all at the same time. So it's like, it's kind of hard when people say who's your favorites. It's like, my favorites are all retired or busy doing other things. So it's so cool to see my whatever top 3 favorite of all time to come back tonight, and then at Mania to see it live. Daniel Bryan next to only Miz and CM Punk as my favorites ever, to come back and still in the prime of his career to go back and start doing big matches again, start building stuff back up as that underdog, and hopefully get another title run.
Or a couple,
maybe 3,
Are
4.
You okay? You okay over there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Nick, but do you think that we'll see Daniel like full time?
Yeah.
Full time?
Yeah. I guess here we are again, fantasy booking. It's just with Daniel Bryan, it never ends with me. So I was talking to Kelli about this today. I was gonna say it for the podcast, so here we are. They have that Greatest Royal Rumble coming up. I meant to talk about that on the show. It's a Saudi Arabian afternoon pay-per-view network special. I think it's not been confirmed yet, but that's the rumor. It's going to be a network special.
When is it, like April 27th?
April 27th.
Like
it's on a Friday afternoon. There's going to be 7 title matches and a 50-man Royal Rumble featuring possibly The Undertaker. I saw his name mentioned. It hasn't been mentioned by the company yet, but in like the official press release, it was. Oh. So Daniel Bryan got screwed out of 2 consecutive WrestleManias, 14 and 15, where he was supposed to be in 14, wasn't in it. 15, eliminated by Bray Wyatt, and Roman won this darn thing. So now, have him win the 50-man Royal Rumble and get himself a title shot against Nakamura, the dream match that both of those guys have been wanting for probably 10 years, honestly. Yeah. So it doesn't matter who wins, honestly. Of course, I want Daniel to win, but Nakamura and Daniel Bryan at a pay-per-view over the summer would be just beautiful. SummerSlam. But the problem is that there's still May, June, July between that network special and SummerSlam. So maybe it's like a different B pay-per-view main evented by Bryan and Nakamura. Because that'd be a good way to... Because they're going to start doing co-branded pay-per-views, right? That'd be a good way to make sure that SmackDown stays relevant, is to have Daniel Bryan as the top of the bill, have a SmackDown match main event some of these pay-per-views that are co-branded. So it's not just Raw dominated, it's not just Roman and whoever he's facing as the main event every single month. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited.
Excited for the future?
Excited for the immediate future, for next month. Good God.
Dude,
19 days.
Remember when we thought about going to WrestleMania? It was just a thought, and then we put it into action, and then it was like such a long time, and then it was like,
and now
it's here.
17 days until we leave.
Yeah, until we leave.
Ooh. I'm excited. I'm not usually the host of the show, so did I forget anything, guys? Is there anything else going on this week?
Do you have a question of the week?
Yeah. But prior to the question of the week and the finishers, do you guys have anything else you want to cover?
I'm trying to think.
I glossed over the Greatest Royal Rumble show. 7 title matches and the 50-man Rumble.
But we also don't have a lot of details about that.
Yeah, I think
so
we'll get
we
there.
can cover those and like.
Yeah, and that's after Mania. So
yeah we can.
So
cover
they
those.
can't promote it now anyways, because they want to overshadow their biggest show of the year.
I'm sure as we get closer, like as soon as WrestleMania is over, they'll start promoting, announcing everything.
Like right after that Monday after.
Yeah. Anything else going on?
That's what I'm excited for, is the Monday after WrestleMania, because those are, or the Monday and Tuesday, because those are always the best.
It'll be big. Anything else we got going on this week you can think of?
I don't think so.
We're at 54 minutes anyway, so I think we're doing pretty solid on time. Let's go with the question of the week this week. Of course, it's Daniel Bryan themed. With him coming back, limitless number currently of dream matches, dream scenarios, dream feuds, dream angles that he could be in. What is your dream for who he can wrestle now? Whether it's a rematch against someone he's faced before, like Cena or The Miz, or someone new he's never faced before, like Brock or Braun or etc. And I'll take it first, like I usually do. My dream match is someone who's not even currently active. Samoa Joe. I think Samoa and Daniel Bryan would tear it down. They used to wrestle in ROH all the time when Joe was a little smaller, more of a faster wrestler. And everybody loves to see Daniel as the underdog. So to have a big guy like Joe who can still kind of flip around and do big spots versus Daniel would be great. Despite the fact that Joe kind of ended the career of Tyson Kidd with a neck injury, I think it'd be great because they know each other really well. Their styles clash, but also they compare and contrast in just the best way. They kind of fit together. And you could book Daniel as the underdog while still having a great technical match against Joe.
Yeah.
What do you guys got?
Do you want to hear mine that will never happen?
Is it AJ Styles?
Oh, well, no, that would happen.
Yeah, it would. You're right.
If CM Punk would come back, you could see CM Punk versus fantasy booking, dog.
This afternoon when it was announced that Daniel was coming back, I went back and I had to watch his highlights, of course. I had to skip over all his matches with CM Punk because I knew it was going to bum me out, even though I was happy as can be.
But that'd be great.
It'd be great.
The one that I want to see is the one that you mentioned,
AJ
Styles
and it's a matter of time on the same
Daniel.
show.
Really, it really
Gosh,
is.
it's going to be so good. Kelly, what you got?
Well, there's a few. The one that like comes to mind, him versus Finn. I think that would be.
There's so many options.
I just think that would be so good, especially with like the Demon King angle.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes, please.
Even at Mania, we're getting him versus Kevin and Sammy. Those are dream matches in themselves.
Yeah,
those are two guys that debuted after he was retired and after he was kind of declining to where he couldn't wrestle anymore. Now is a great time for that to happen. At Mania, it's going to be great to see them kind of tie it up at the grandest stage of them all.
Yeah, I'd also really like to see Miz, even though like
Yes.
I know that's
my number two besides Samoa Joe. Matches that have already happened that I want to see again, Miz and Daniel Bryan would be
like
incredible.
The
the
really
promos
want,
for that match.
Oh, I really want next Monday Miz to just open it up, just mention the fact and then just kind of like, talk some crap about Daniel Bryan and then like it hits, his music hits and it's like I'll deal with you after Mania and just kind of like start setting it up.
Oh my gosh.
It won't happen, but like
you know what? Let's have faith.
A girl can dream.
Let's have faith.
It could happen.
So now is our favorite part of the show.
Sorry, Nick.
Favorite part of the show, finishers. You guys got finishers? To be honest with you guys, I'm still thinking of one right now.
I'll go, Nick.
Damien.
Oh,
Is that my John impression?
John.
Damien.
Oh, that was loud. Thanks. I'm wearing the headphones this week.
Hey.
So ever since I was a little kid, I've watched wrestling. You guys know that. I'm just really excited. Well, for the future. But we're going to WrestleMania. That I've always wanted to do that. Didn't really have that. I mean, I went to those small shows like Raw, and I went to SummerSlam. But I never as a kid thought I'd ever go to WrestleMania because it's so much money. But now that I make my own money, and coming to college, I'd never really thought that I would continue to, watch wrestling as I would as a kid, because I was like, well, if I meet new friends, they're probably not going to want to watch it with me. But here on the first couple of days, I met Nick, and then I met Dalton, and I met everyone. So I'm just grateful that I get to experience, this moment in my life with you guys, because you guys are some of the greatest friends that I've ever had. And dude, I'm about to tear up.
I was going to say, I can definitely co-sign that, because in high school, I didn't have very many friends to watch with, and even if they did, it was kind of as a joke.
And when I talk about wrestling with, like, some of my friends from back in high school, they're like, you liked wrestling? Like,
yeah.
What, like,
they didn't even know? Yeah.
No, because I had no one besides, like, my friend Cody and Vic.
I had, like, two guys that I watched with, and even then, they fell out of it pretty quickly anyways.
And it's just... It just makes me happy, that I have people to watch it with, and I'm going to WrestleMania.
We're going to WrestleMania.
The boy who had a dream.
The boyhood dream. Yeah, that's gonna be my Instagram caption. I mean, all of our Instagram captions.
The
the boyhood dream has come true. I'm ready. Kelly, what's your finisher? Kelly.
Hello. My finisher is kind of the same theme as Damien, as being like sentimental. I'm not going to WrestleMania because I can't afford it. Wow.
I'm sorry.
Whoa.
That was.
I'm sorry.
That was mean.
I'm
I don't do these sentimental things.
No, but I've talked about this before. I mean, everyone knows I just got into wrestling. I literally just said it. And it's literally because of you two. When I first met Damien, it was kind of like oh, hey, like, why don't you just come over and hang out with us? And it just became like a weekly thing and then daily thing. And now I'm over at the apartment all the time. And it's like...
Well, you're dating one of our best friends, so...
That's true. But it's... At the same time, it's like... You guys really did introduce me into wrestling. And, like, this is something that I really full-heartedly, like, love. Mm-hmm. And, like, I'm just grateful for the fact because it's like... Like, you guys are two of my best friends in the entire world. Like,
What the heck? John's gone, and now we're all crying on the show. This is not...
No, I'm not crying.
I'm not crying because I miss him.
Yeah.
He'd usually be making fun of me about right now. And
yeah.
Like some joke about toast, but Kelly, go on.
I'm having my moment, and you're ruining it. But I just want to say thank you, because, like...
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You guys are, like, the only people who really, like, support what I like to do, because a lot of people judge me for, like, liking wrestling, because it's not something that you should do, because it's dumb and fake and blah, 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 blah.
Wrestling's fake.
It's real to me, dang it.
So, just thank you for introducing me to wrestling, and thank you for being two of my best friends.
We love you,
I love
Kelly.
you guys.
Nice. That's all I got. My turn, right?
Yep.
You don't have to be sentimental.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that crap. No way. I'm looking forward to WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to the future. Looking forward to Charlotte. What else do we usually say?
The Edge.
The Edge. I'm just gonna coattail off what you guys have been saying.
Dude, sorry.
Man, dude. I'm gonna just take your guys' thunder. I'm so excited to be going to Mania. I'm glad we got to finally say it on this podcast, despite the fact that only 2 of us are on the show this week that are going to Mania.
There's 8 of us.
Out of the 8 of us are on the show. I'm excited to be going. I'm not excited for the car ride.
Especially if John's in the front seat.
Just don't throw up this time.
My finisher really is just, it's such a cool, like a full circle deal with both Daniel Bryan and Undertaker, who they both had their kind of biggest moments of their career in a way, with the streak ending at WrestleMania 30 and Daniel Bryan winning the championship at the main event of WrestleMania 30. And now to have them full circle come back to New Orleans to have Taker's final send-off and to have Daniel Bryan's brand new beginning to his already accomplished career. It's a cool way to, like, a cool parallel to have Taker finish while Daniel Bryan rises back up. I really like that, the way that's going to happen.
You get to see it.
And also, I love you guys, and we're all friends. Yeah. That's going to do it for this episode of the Four Corners podcast. That was sarcastic, but I really do like you guys a lot. Love, all that.
Whatever that emotion is.
Be sure to follow us on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook. Be sure to subscribe. To subscribe to our YouTube. I'm going to put the question of the week on Twitter this week for everybody to vote on. I'm probably going to post it on the Facebook too if I have the time and I care enough to do it.
This podcast will probably not be up for another few days because John takes a long time to do it.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, we kind of had to make do with our own, because John usually takes care of it for us. So we're going to have to.
Gentry.
Thanks, Gentry. Bless up. We're going to have to send John his audio file and have him upload it for us and cut it down and add our intro to it. Besides that, I'm looking forward to the future. Looking forward to WrestleMania. And for all of us here at the Four Corners podcast, thanks for listening.